Hello and welcome to the RD to RD live show. My name is Megan Boitano. I'm the founder and owner of RD to RD, and I am extremely excited to have Erica Jolson on as my guest today. Erica is the creator of the Functional Nutrition Library, a membership site that specializes as a resource for dietitians that work with within the functional nutrition space, food sensitivities, as well as like certified LEAP therapists. So Erica really built and launched and has grown her membership site from the ground up. All of the tech, all of the marketing, all of the content creation. She has done it all herself. So we are going to dig in today about all of those steps in the process, lessons that she's learned, and tips for you if you're considering creating a membership site. So I am really excited to welcome Erica to the show. We're back. We have audio. Sorry everyone for the challenges, but with technology, that's always the fun with live video. When you record a podcast or you do something, if it doesn't work, you can just totally, re-record, edit it out. So live video is happening right now. I'm so sorry. Okay.
No worries.
So
is it working now?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and dive in. We'll go around. So let's jump right into the Functional Nutrition Library. What is a membership site? And then as you talk about the Functional Nutrition Library, you can tell us more about your story as far as how you All right, so tell me so let's kind of dig in and start with, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about everyone wants to generate passive income, and a membership site, it's like, great, people are going to pay every single month, I'm going to have all this revenue coming in. What is a membership site? What can people kind of expect?
Yeah, so a membership site is really usually a website where you offer access to exclusive private content that's kind of protected by a password of some kind. People have to sign up in order to see it. And they'd be paying you either a monthly or sometimes an annual recurring fee in order to access that content. And then if they ever stop paying, then they don't have access to the content anymore. So in that sense, it is sort of like a recurring revenue model, because if someone really likes what you're putting down, they do have to continue to pay you either monthly or annually to get it. So that's like the short and sweet version of what a membership site is.
It sounds easy, I think, but I know with any online business, there's always a lot of behind the scenes. So some of us may already be members of a membership site, but we don't really understand all the elements that it takes to be successful. So I think for me, that question is, okay, so I want to launch a membership site. What's going to drive people? How do I know what people are going to be willing to pay for in order to really generate revenue? How do you do that? And kind of maybe talk us through how you did that with the Functional Nutrition Library, your thought process.
Totally. So when I launched it, since we skipped over the intro of how I got here, basically I always kind of knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit. I've never really connected with one-on-one client work. It always, even when I was working in research and running participants and stuff like that, it really gave me a lot of anxiety. And it still did that even when I was seeing clients one-on-one, and I would be like, I would spend all day preparing for a 1-hour client session, totally overboard. It just wasn't really it wasn't something that gave me a feeling of ease and excitement. It was kind of stressful.
Mm-hmm.
So I always kind of knew I probably would not be living the best version of my life if I was seeing clients full time. So I always had the intention of building something online. When I first started out, I kind of thought that might be a food blog. So I had started a food blog before I even went to grad school, and had been sporadically posting, kind of just learning by practicing, not really taking it very seriously. I wasn't really treating it as a business, more just like a hobby. And I think I kind of thought people just find me on the internet and then it'll blow up and then this will be how I make money. But of course, that's super naive, looking back. So I had been dabbling in that for a while, and I had started the Unconventional RD blog as kind of a way to document my attempts to build money online and kind of give me some accountability. Like, I'm putting everything out there, like, so I better keep like consistently taking action because people are like following along. So that was kind of my intention. And then I started a Facebook group to go along with it to kind of like communicate with other RD bloggers and get feedback and help each other along the way. And that kind of blew up.
Yeah, your Facebook group is huge.
Yeah, now. But when I started the functional nutrition library, I think I got it to where there was like 500 people in the group. And I was like, oh my God, like 500 people, that's so many. Like, it seemed like a lot to me at the time.
It is a lot of people.
Yeah, now for reference, it's like 3,500. So, and that's only 1 year later. It kind of really blew up.
But I think that's a testament to the interest in generating alternative sources of revenue, and that there's such a gap in, you work in a hospital or you do a private practice, but there's this, like we were saying before everyone could hear us, this ocean of opportunity that isn't either of those. And especially, I love the point you were making about not really enjoying one-to-one client work. Like, it just wasn't something that gave you a sense of ease and wasn't something that really connected. And I think giving people that opportunity to learn about, you don't have to just do that. You don't have to do one-to-one client work.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I wanted to create the Facebook group, because I was feeling like that too. Like, there's got to be other people out there who feel the same way. So,
and I think your group is so valuable just as a place to go. And one, if you're not ready to take action yet, just to be a fly on the wall and listen to the discussions, and it helps you focus on, what should you be thinking about. And then when you really are ready, there's lots of people who've already done it before. So major shout out. Thank you for creating that space for those of us who are a little unconventional.
Yeah, so that's kind of the reason why I created my first online product, because I had this group. There was like 500 people in it. I was like, okay, this feels like it might be like the tipping point moment where like I could potentially, offer something for sale and people might buy it. Even though it wasn't even related to the topic of the group, I was brainstorming like what I would be best suited for at that time. And I didn't feel like I had the personal experience at that point yet to like give people advice really on making money on a blog or anything. I was kind of just like working through it myself and just wanted a place to share. But what I did have experience in was self-teaching myself basically a ton about functional nutrition and adverse food reactions and stuff like that. And I had amassed like over 350 notes in Evernote that I was referencing when I was seeing clients, and I would share them with people, other RDs, when they asked questions. And I was like, oh, I already like did a whole bunch of research on this because, like perfectionist, like over the top prepared. I had like way everything I could possibly be asked about the topic, like in a note, basically. And
so tell me about how this, so you had all these basically detailed notes in Evernote that were your own clinical resources, your own resources to provide, great care. And you loved researching and you loved reading and creating these. At what point, I think it's really scary when we get an idea. We're like, I think this could work, but then you're terrified, right? You're like, well, what if nobody values it as much as I do? Would somebody really pay for it? How did you go from, well, I think these notes are valuable and could generate income, to getting enough like guts to really put it forward as a business? That's a big that's a big move.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had the experience of a couple people telling me like, these are good enough to buy. So that helped. And then I just had the audience of RDs and thought, okay, like if I at least announce it, maybe some of them will be interested. So before I did anything, before I built any of it, I literally just made a landing page on my site that I already had, which was ericajolson.com. So I didn't put any extra money into creating a brand new website or anything. It was definitely like minimum viable product type of situation. So I made a landing page. I installed a membership plugin so that if people were interested, they could pay through that portal, and it was already like set up for when.
So this was pre-launch. This was before you'd built anything, that people that were interested could already visit your landing page, which is basically kind of a not in your site navigation. It's a place, right? Maybe, if it is in your, but it's just dedicated. You want people to take an action there. So they signed up for your list or paid, right, for a product that hadn't even been developed yet.
I said on the page, like, I haven't made this yet, but I have this idea. I really would love to create it if there's interest. And I gave like a really discounted price.
Okay.
I think it did $95 annual membership for pre-selling or pre-buying it before it was even made. And I thought like, even if I can make like $1,000 or something pre-selling, at least in my head, like, because in the past I'd tried to create stuff without an audience or without really solving a problem, and like 2 people would buy, and I'd make like $20.
I think this is a really important point. I think there are a couple of things going on here. When you have audience, right, you need to be able to get your product out in front of enough. Not everyone's gonna buy, but you need an audience. So what do you had your Facebook group. If someone is, thinking, they've got something that's valuable, this audience component, that's like, I think, difficult, like getting your product in front of, I could create a landing page, I could set a price, like I could do some of these things. What about that audience piece?
It's like the most important part, because this wasn't my first time like trying to create something online. It just was floundering around kind of. I didn't have a niche with my food blog, so I wasn't really actually like helping anyone. I think it hurt me in some aspects that I had started it as a hobby and I was just kind of documenting what I liked to cook, and then kept going like that without thinking about it in a business aspect. Like, who am I really speaking to? Whose problems am I solving? How is this website like helping someone? Why would someone rave about it and want to send it to their friends? Like, I didn't have any of that, so I didn't really have an audience of true fans to sell to or help. So that I tried to go about that a different way, once I started getting a little more serious about it. And at least with the Facebook group that I created, I knew they were all dietitians. Some of them were in private practice. Some of them practiced functional nutrition or were interested in it. So I thought, it's worth a shot. I might as well try to pre-sell it. If it doesn't work, then whatever, I'll just refund everyone and won't build it.
Did you already have an idea when you... So I'm in love with the idea of minimum viable products. Before I launched RD to RD, it was a landing page, right? And then, hey, do you think is this something that resonates with you? And I think we tend to want to think we know what people are willing to pay for, but a landing page is so easy to create and to really then... Now you've got some people. Did you start to dig in and ask them what they valued? Because I'm sure you captured email addresses that weren't just buyers, like, hey, you might be interested. What did you do with that information?
So I did not do that. I'm working on actually some new projects right now where I am doing that. But at the time, I didn't. I just said, this is my idea. Like, how do you guys feel about it? Like, because if you just ask, you can get like people don't want to offend you, or they want to be supportive and they might say, yeah, that's a great idea. But then when you put the like buy button up, they might not actually purchase. So it was really important for me to like actually pre-sell it.
Okay.
And then see if people are really willing to like invest in that product or not. So that's what I did, and I sold like 20 or so in the pre-sale like month-long period. And so I made like $2,000 ish, and I was like, at that point, I was like, what? That's so good. Like, I don't even care if anyone else buys. Like, I'm making it. So then I spent like a month or 6 weeks or so kind of putting everything together, and then it officially went live. And once it went live is when I introduced the option to pay month by month.
Yes, and you just read my mind, because I'm thinking, oh, this is great, right? Someone has to make the decision to sign up for a whole year. But the functional nutrition library is, notes and resources that in theory someone could look at, use, and then cancel their membership. To me, I think that would be kind of a difficult decision to go, okay, should I only go monthly? Should I do annual? And what were your fears or concerns about that?
I think it has a lot to do with kind of the mission statement, I guess, of what your membership site is about. So I really felt strongly that I wanted to create an affordable resource around functional nutrition, because there's a lot of great like high-end courses that are really in-depth and detailed, and you can get certifications and stuff like that, which is great. but not, I mean, I wasn't in a place personally where I was able to afford that as a new RD, trying to do my own thing, you know, it's barely getting by. So
Right.
I felt like there's probably other people in that same position. And I was kind of solving my own problem, I guess. Like I solved it for myself, and then I just wanted to pass it on to other people. So it was really important to keep it somewhat affordable. And it's just thinking about myself. I would have loved like $11.99 a month. Like, you know, I just don't get 2 coffees, and like I've paid for it.
Yeah, I actually feel that kind of what you've done with, you know, functional nutrition library, there's so much wisdom in our profession, so many, you know, dietitians that are brilliant at, you know, their client work. They've amassed, you know, a career's worth of knowledge that you can really only get through really doing it and spending the time doing the research. There's so much to be gained by, you know, putting that wisdom out there in the world. So I love that you didn't just keep those notes, or you share them onesie twosies, but you, one, your wisdom has value, and two, to really create it in a way that makes it sustainable so you can continue to invest in it, you can make it better and even more, you know, valuable resource for the community of dietitians that specialize in, you know,
Yeah.
your niche, or your former niche, your niche.
And in case
So
you're curious, I
yeah.
would say it's a pretty even split between people who choose annual and monthly.
Okay, that is
Yeah.
actually, because I'm sure there's a discount for doing a year over
Yeah, you
like
basically
monthly.
get 2 months free.
Okay.
But it's a bigger upfront investment, so not everyone is
So
able.
we kind of jumped over this tech piece that you said you created a landing page and you did it on your website. Did you use a plugin or a tool? What did you use to create the landing page?
Yeah, I just made a page
Okay, you
on
just made a
my
page.
site. And I did have a little tab on my whatever you call it, the bar on the top
Yeah.
of my website with like the different
Okay.
sections you can go to.
Okay.
I had one that said functional nutrition library, and if you clicked on that, it would just bring you to kind of the sales page,
Right.
which in the pre-launch period had a description of what I was hoping to create and a buy button, and you were only able at that point to buy the annual $95 a year
I see.
option. And then as soon as I had actually created the content, which basically what you do is
So the buy button, let's go back to this buy button. So
yeah.
was that a buy button you created through PayPal? Because I know PayPal lets you create buy buttons, or do you have a shopping cart like installed on your website?
I did everything using the membership plugin called MemberPress.
Okay,
And they
MemberPress.
take care of all of that.
Got
So once I had installed MemberPress, you basically design your little offer button, and it has a little square, and you say how much it is per year, a little brief description of what they're getting, and then there's a buy button.
Okay.
And you can set it up to be through PayPal or through credit card via Stripe.
Got it.
Offered both. So that's how that worked. And then with that plugin, anything you're creating on the back end, like when you go on my site, you see there's like different notebooks that you can enter, and then there's sort of like a table of contents, alphabetical. I created all that by hand, just with WordPress. Like there's no tool or anything I used to do that. But you basically tag every post or page as part of your library within the MemberPress plugin. And then you can set it like, okay, people who purchase this level of membership get access to these tagged items.
Right.
So you could get really complex and fancy if you wanted. Mine was relatively simple because everyone, whether they're paying annually or monthly, they're all accessing the same thing.
And you use WordPress. I mean, I have a couple of websites. One is WordPress, and there's a lot of different ways, I think, to do content restriction based on product purchasing. But you know, remember, I think sometimes a tool that's already has all of the functionality, even stuff you don't think you need to have, that they already know you're going to need to have, which I think is really nice when you choose a tool that's like, this is what we do, right? Rather than trying to piecemeal together something that really wasn't meant to do a membership site. Someone's like, well, I did it with, you know, this PayPal and a password protected. You could do it that way. So why did you spend the money on a membership plugin when you're like, I'm trying to save money. I'm going to see if this is going to work. I'm just going to do the backdoor way. Because you know there's backdoor ways to make it happen.
That's such a good question, because I actually fell for that a little bit. I tried to use a free plugin that was supposedly a free membership plugin. I set the whole thing up. I spent days on it, and then as the pre-sale went live, it wasn't working. Like people weren't getting emails with like their login information. and stuff like they were paying and not
Right.
getting the stuff. And I was like, oh shoot, like
Yes.
that's not good. So that was only live for like 2 days, and I like scrambled, and I was like, you know what, if this is going to be a real thing, it's worth the investment. It's only like $120 or something at the time when I bought it. So
I feel the same way like about course builders. There's so many great course builder plugins or tools. Like, why the experience for your customers, if they are having a, you know, really thinking about their experience, and honestly, when you kind of piecemeal it together, it doesn't feel very good for them on the front end. So I think your immediate like switcheroo and fixing it, you want to trust your tech, and it can be such a time-sucking monster when you're having tech issues. An entire day goes by, or a morning that you don't get back, that if you had a tool that you could trust and did, like, because I spend a lot of time doing tech, that sometimes it's really worth that investment. How valuable is your time?
And customer service. Like, if you use a free plugin, there's no one to talk to usually. But if you're struggling and you bought something, there's usually someone there to answer your question if you're like really stuck. Or there's like a library of frequently asked questions to reference.
Correct. And I think for some people who use WordPress, kind of plugin based, there's other kind of like third-party services that will allow you to do content restriction. I know like Gumroad allows you to tag specific, you have to purchase a product to have access. So if you don't use WordPress, there are other ways, even on different builders. Membership sites are so common. If whatever website you have, there will be a way to make it happen. So you don't have to be on WordPress. You could be on whatever kind of site you have.
There's one called Member Space or Squarespace, but it's just, I prefer WordPress because the pricing model on the Squarespace one is way more expensive. Like, you have to pay per how many members, and you have to pay monthly, versus the WordPress plugins like once a year, $100-ish investment. So
I think for anything that's really highly e-commerce, I really think WordPress is a better bet. There's so much more. Many more options and integrations, and the ability to customize, but yet you're still in a very supportive framework. Like, WordPress is not. There's a lot of website people who can help you at reasonable cost. I think WordPress is fab for selling pretty much anything.
Yeah. Oh, I should mention also there's 2 other plugins that I'm using. Do you want me to mention those?
Yes.
Okay. I redid the site about a month ago, which took me a few months to build. I did that myself as well, using the Divi WordPress theme.
Okay.
And then I basically installed the same MemberPress plugin. When I purchased it, it's no longer like this, but when I purchased it, it kind of came with an affiliate program rolled in. So I also installed the affiliate program application or plugin on my website. And if you're not familiar with what affiliates are, that's basically if someone signs up to be an affiliate for my website, then they get a special unique link with kind of like a special code in it. So if they share that link, it uses cookies to track who clicks on it. And then if any of those people who clicked on it choose to sign up within a certain day window, I think I don't remember what mine is, but usually it's like 90 days or something. Then they get a percentage of the sale.
So how beneficial has an affiliate program been? Do you think, there's time invested in kind of dealing with an affiliate program and the benefit that you get. So I'd really be curious to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I haven't actually looked up how many people, but I would say I have like maybe 4 people who consistently promote it and bring in affiliate sales every month. I would say maybe like 20 affiliate sales out of the like 145 people that I have, which is like not bad. Like, that's, $200 a month that I wouldn't have otherwise, type of thing, if they haven't heard about it through me. So I really like it. It's kind of still in its infancy. I haven't really utilized it to its full potential, but I think worth having, not too hard to organize. And then the other plugin I use is LearnDash, which is like a course plugin that kind of basically this was another mistake I made that I would highly recommend not making. I wanted to do like little monthly e-courses to keep people excited and interested in joining. and I had done those on a different website platform. So I had used thinkific.com,
right.
which is, you know, kind of like Teachable.
Mhm.
They're like, I would say, the top 2 online course platforms, and you pay monthly to use them, but everything's all set up for you. So you just like record the content and like plug and chug, and it's like set up like a course basically.
Right.
So I did that, but then
the integration between the two had to be an absolute nightmare.
That was not a good idea. So I was manually adding people who
Oh
signed up
boy.
in my library to that site, and then they had to like create another password, and it was just a mess. And like I got so many emails like, how do I get to the course? Like it was not great. So when I redid the site, I did not want that to be happening anymore.
So I actually think this is such an important point right here, because I think so many people, if they're doing a membership site, are thinking, okay, there might be certain things you could download, whether it's workbooks or recipes or whatever downloadable product. That's a totally different animal than saying someone has access to a course. And yes, I know you can, put it on a page and password protect, but I think we've talked about this already, like your customers, like you need to make it easy. If you create all these hoops to jump through, a course plugin that integrates, that's set up to work with your membership plugin in a way that makes sense, is going to save you time and be a good experience.
Yeah, so it was really nice. They integrate perfectly. You literally like click a button, like this level of membership gets access to this course, and it's all done. So
yeah, I use a similar plugin that's linked purchases of products. So it says, if the person purchases this product, which courses should they be enrolled in? The enrollment happens automatically from their dashboard. There's a section that says courses, and then the hyperlink magically appears. I don't do anything. It's all automated. Like, I don't want to do anything.
Right. So it's so much less stressful now, because I used to get an email notification like new member, and I'd be like, oh shoot, I gotta run to my laptop and add them. And then now I'm like, oh, it's all done. Like it's actually passive now. So.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. Like you have a new member, like I'm sure you have a little checklist, right? I know for me, when somebody signs up to be a new vendor on RD2RD, I have this little like hit list. Like these are some things I have to do, right? To make sure that, all the right things happen. So how much time would you say, okay, you've created this membership site, it's going to be kind of this ongoing. How much time do you spend when you get a new member? How many, like, I don't want to say complaints, but how much like issues? You have tech, you have customer service. Let's talk about all these things you don't think of. All you think of is how much money you're making every month. What about all that other stuff?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest time investment right now actually is just updating it every week. So I committed to when I first launched it, as I said, it was definitely a minimum viable product. It was just my notes, and like I definitely needed to go back through and like add references that I didn't have and stuff like that to make it more legit. So every month I update one or more of the notes. I try to hit on at least 12 different items, update 12 different, like, not notes, but like say I have a note and there's like 12 sections, like what does this vitamin do in the body? Like how much do you need every day? How much should you be taking to replete a deficiency? How can you test to see if you're deficient? How can you test to see if you have too much? Like all those things, each of those would be like one point that I'm updating. So I try to update 12 items like that every week. So I spend, I would say, a full, more than probably an 8-hour workday every week updating the content. And then when I redid the site, I kind of, like you said, mentioning the member experience, I didn't really do a great job of that in the initial time. So this time I really thought through, what should the email look like when they get the first email when they sign up? I linked to some of the most popular posts. I tried to guide them through the different sections that you might want to check out, remind them of the e-courses, all of that sort of stuff that I didn't, like the first version of it, it literally was like, thanks for signing up, here's your login, like, and that's it.
Are you glad though? So I feel like we always go, well, if I did it over again, I did it so messy. These conversations happen like every time. Like you should do it this way, but this is how I really did it. Would you have the functional nutrition library site you have right now if you hadn't have done it maybe that less messy? Would you start where you are now? Could you have started where you are now? I guess I'm not really asking the question very well.
No, I get it. I think if it's perfect when you launch, you launch too late. I think there's so much room to and sometimes you might think that you're setting everything up correctly, and then the feedback you get from it, it's not what people want anyway. So you're always going to be changing and tweaking and modifying based on the feedback you get.
But I think that you always hear people say content is king or queen, right? That ultimately your notes and the content within them were helping clinicians and it was valuable. And whether or not your email was perfect or your site was that ultimately people joined and they stayed because content. It really doesn't matter how fancy your website is or how expensive the plugin or that you have to bring the value, right? So I think that's kind of how what you're doing, like as far as updating the notes, adding new content. You do great at email marketing and saying, hey, here's what I updated. So there's a lot of time you spend. You send out an email that says, hey, here's the note that I updated, reminding people about here's the new value that I added without saying, keep your membership, right? How do you delicately balance, like, you don't want to lose your members, but you also don't want to be like pushy. I feel like there's like this balance there.
I really am not, I never push people. I try to do more like attract people into the membership by being awesome, and then if it's not the fit for them, like it's not gonna be, I think I've had like 2 refund requests out of 200 people that have gone through. So that's pretty good. And it's usually people who I don't even know, like people who find it because they know me tend to stay versus like, I think a handful of people have just found it through like Google or something. And those are the people who are like, oh, this isn't quite like what I wanted or whatever. Because maybe they don't even know, like they might not even be dietitians. I don't know. So.
And I think people just have to know there's going to be refund requests. And I think we're type A perfectionists and we go into this, it's not good enough, or what did I do wrong? And the reality is it's just part of selling. It's just going to happen. Let it go,
Yeah. And it doesn't have anything to do with you. I think when I was blogging, I took, like, when I first started my very first email list, anyone who unsubscribed, I was like, oh, what did I do? Like, I'm not good enough. And now that I've gone on and tried so many other things, I'm like, it's really not personal. Like, sometimes your email is just way too busy and you need to unsubscribe, but you still love their content and you go to their website and check it out. You just don't want to get the email anymore. Or like,
exactly.
I've done that with people that I genuinely love their content, but I'm like, I just can't handle like
exactly. I can't believe like I have like so many questions and I have like so little time left because I am super tight on time today. But before we wrap up, 2 really quick questions. So I want to know, actually I have 3. So mistakes that you see people make that, when you're hearing, like you run a large Facebook group and someone says, well, I'm thinking about starting a membership site, and like the 3 things that pop up that you're going, no, don't do that, or mistakes you see people make.
I think number 1 is not validating or having an audience first. You can sink a lot of time into building something fully, and then, you open your sales page and it's like crickets. So I've done that. I mean, not for something as big as a membership site, but for smaller products that I had thought of with my food blog in the past. So I would say trying to potentially pre-sell. Also, potentially just be honest with yourself. If you don't have a true audience of, I would say, I know I started selling at 500 people in my group. Maybe even 1,000 would be better. And if you're not there yet, it might not be the right time to launch. Like
focusing on building your audience first.
Exactly. And providing value and building trust, because then when you do offer something, you're going to have a much better result than if you kind of come at people and you're like, hey, buy this thing. Like when that's how you're leading into the relationship, that doesn't really give people good vibes. And
I think this kind of segues into, some people were asking about kind of support groups, or they want to bring people into paid monthly where you have expertise that, maybe just growing your audience, you might just need more people. Maybe your idea is really good. You just don't have a big enough audience yet to kind of attract.
So just to give people some sense of what's normal, I would say you shouldn't expect to sell at the best, probably, I would say like 5% of your audience might buy. So if that gives you some sort, like 1 to 5%, maybe really around like 2 or 3 would be like really good. That's where I was like, let's see. If I sold 20 and I had 500 people, I guess I was like at like 4% for my pre-sale. So, it's not going to be a lot. It's not like you have 500 people and 500 people are going to buy.
Right. That's just not going to happen.
You kind of have to keep your expectations somewhat realistic and understand that you do have to have at least a little bit of an audience to make it worth your time.
All right, so 2 more rapid fire questions and then we will jump off. But what resources do you recommend? So where can people go if they're curious about learning more about membership sites to just really learn about them in general?
Yeah, my favorite website is probably the Membership Guys. Amazing. Their entire site is all about running a membership site.
Okay.
Lots of free content. They have a podcast and they have a membership site about launching a membership site. So if you're really serious, that's a really good place to go.
Okay.
And they have a Facebook group as well.
Oh.
And then if you want to just learn more about, details about how I went through it, you could check out my income reports at unconventionalrd.com. I try to be really detailed about how many members I have and what it looks like along the trajectory. I'm like almost a year behind in posting them. So I've only posted like maybe 2 or 3 months related to the functional nutrition library, but every month I'm posting another one. So you'll continue to see the cycle and what worked and what didn't. Okay. If you want to follow along.
Perfect. And then how can people find out more about the functional nutrition library membership site if they want to check it out?
Yeah, the new site is functionalnutritionlibrary.com. I just redid it about a month ago. It just has a landing page right now, basically, or a sales page, and then the courses in the library itself. And then we kind of touched on this, how to bring in new members and stuff like that and keep your membership site top of mind. I'm about to launch a free blog to go with it called functionalnutritionanswers.com, which is going to be me and another RD and hopefully more RDs who are interested in functional nutrition as it grows, writing blog posts answering questions and then kind of tying in the membership site, like if you want to learn more, like here's where you should go, type of stuff like that. So that's my current idea and I'll see how that goes. But
awesome.
So functionalnutritionanswers.com is coming soon.
Functional Nutrition Answers. I think you find you on Instagram there too. But also if you're not already in the Unconventional RD Facebook community, you should be there. So definitely join that. And Erica's income reports are fantastic. I think a real open book about, passive income and, kind of where the money's coming from. And it really opens your eyes to maybe what you think and reality. It's really nice of you to take us on that journey, I think, and being so open because very few people do that. So thank you.
Totally. And if there's questions, because I can't see if people are asking questions, but I can like totally jump in the comments and try to, if they save them somewhere.
Excellent. Yeah, they'll save them.
Since we lost like
we did we lost it all. So thank you so much. And it has been, sorry for the technical issues that were all my fault. Totally just about, very mortifiedly embarrassed about that. So I'm so sorry. Thank you for coming on, and thank you everyone for listening in, and we will tackle the questions. Sorry, we're a little short on time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Erica.